You should carefully consider whether trading is suitable for you in light of your circumstances, knowledge, and financial resources. You may lose all or more of your initial investment. Opinions, market data, and recommendations are subject to change at any time. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. This is training. This is something you will research and make sure that it fits you. So please take notes, write your questions down. Most of the speakers will take questions on the fly, but some do like you to hold until they're done with their presentation. So from 1981 to 1988, he ran the largest options firm in the country and later worked as a commodity specialist for Paine Webber. In 91, he formed the Hallett Group, managing large trading accounts for individual investors as a commodity trading advisor. He currently owns and operates a Disciplined Trader, founded in 2000, where he focuses on helping traders with the too often neglected art of mental and emotional control and the building of quote unquote simple trading plans. It's trademarked plans that he does. Mr. Hallett is a popular speaker at trading expos and countless international venues. He has over 1 million views of his 4-minute drills for traders, which you can find on YouTube. And he gives tips and techniques for being a more successful trader on YouTube. So you got to go check that out.
Can you hear me singing Sherry? Sherry, baby, Sherry.
Thank you so much.
It's one of my favorites.
Oh, I appreciate that. I needed a serenade this morning. I'll mute myself now and you take it away.
Okay, I think I like your URL better than mine. Traders, I have to see if that's taken. I just reserved, believe it or not, I just reserved Prop Trading University, which is my latest project. So I can't believe I got that URL. I'm really excited to really get people. I'm not only about prop trading, but I tell you, the last 6 months, I've been drawn more and more into this idea and this success notion of prop trading. There's a lot of false things out there, a lot of false news and ideas out there about it. I'm going to try to dispel some of those, give you what the facts are, show you my successes and how I've helped others to follow exactly what I've done, and like you to consider it if it's for you. Okay, so I'm going to talk about how to pass the prop trading testing and then get funded. All of the prop trading firms that supply you with the money have an evaluation series of which they go ahead and you test for it. You have to make a certain amount of money before you lose a certain amount of money. And if you can do that, they'll actually give you money to trade, and you can make 90 to 100% of the profit. Actually, with Apex, which is I think the preferred, they're the biggest and pay out the most. Paid out 6 million last month, I believe, or 3 million last month. I think 18 million this year. You have to look, but they pay out the most, Apex, and so that's kind of what I look for. But they're I'll get into that with the formal presentation. But I want you to understand that you got to pass the test. Once you do, you get funded. In fact, Apex pays you 100% of the first 25,000 you make. So. And why could they do that? I'm going to show you why, and it may, I think, excite you like it excites me. Before I start, I just want to know. If somebody would put something in the chat and just let me know what you're trading. I need to know who I'm speaking to here. What do you trade? If you can give me some idea, I can kind of texture it to what's going on. We have several dozen people. Got more on the line here, so if you can give me an idea, I can texture this a little bit for you. Okay, very good. All righty. Okay, how to pass prop trading and get funded. The promise I make here is I will lay out the pros and cons of prop trading. By the end of the presentation, you can have a clear idea of whether prop trading is for you. I'm going to throw some charts to show you some of the things that the ideas that I put forth that are a little different than what's in your trading plan, and you may want to consider that for you also to help you pass these evaluations, because some of the rules can be strict. A prop trading overview. Prop trading firms, they're going to fund you for $50,000, $100,000, $300,000 accounts. And again, you earn 90% of the profits. And some of the firms, including Apex, they'll give you 100% of the first 25,000. The pros in general are, of course, you're using their money and you're making, as you see, I'm just going to call it all the profit, the vast majority of the profit. I mean, that's huge. Even if you're asked to pay fees, and you are, they don't add up anywhere close to the potential for profitability plus if you think about what you've lost in the past, trading your own money, especially smaller accounts, $4,000, $5,000, $3,000, even $10,000 accounts. Most of the people who come to me for the mental and emotional work that come to us have already blown out 4 or 5 accounts. So if you add all of that up, you'll never get to that kind of losing through prop trading. The fees are really not that big. So the pros, millions are being paid out. I mentioned some of those numbers in a second. And quickly, the cons, mentioned the fee during evaluation. If you're testing for for instance, if you're testing for a $50,000 account, they're going to charge you somewhere about $160, $170 a month while you are evaluating. And evaluating in a $50,000 account just means making $3,000 before you lose $2,500. So it may take you a month or 2 months. So maybe you're paying $300 over a couple of months to pass that evaluation. But even so, I've got 80% discount codes. If you write me, you can just go to my site, thedisciplinedtrader.com, and look for the area where you can communicate with me. And I'll send you a coupon code, at least for Apex I have. May even have one for Top Step for 80% off. So instead of $160 a month for a $50,000 account, you'll be paying $33 a month for a $60,000 account. So the fees, don't let them stand in your way. You've got the monthly fees, you've got reset fees. If you blow out an account, it's going to cost you $80 to $90 to, depending on what firms you look at. There are plenty of prop firms out there. It's $80 to $100 to reset and start again from zero, and at 50,000 and start again, whatever level that you've chosen. And of course, I want you to recall, I don't know if you saw the pre-show that we talked about, 90% of traders fail. That's kind of a con, but it's no more con than trading in general. 90%, it's the same 90% of traders fail. And see, this is the reason why these prop firms can pay out the 90% or 100% to you, because they want some winners. They want we're the carrots. You're going to be the carrots when you're making money and they're sending you checks. You're going to be the carrot that draws in all of the other undisciplined traders who are just going to continue to pay monthly fees and reset fees. That's where they make their money. So they don't mind paying out crazy amounts to winning traders because that attracts all the other traders. So you got to be on the right side of this in order to make it work. But I'm going to give you some tips on how that can happen for you. Okay, these are some of the things that I've gone through in the last 6 or 8 months. I've passed $1,000 with $100,000 with Top Step. I've been funded $50,000 and $150,000. I have several accounts with Apex. Here are a couple of them here. Here's what it looks like when you request money. Once you're funded and you start making money, you can request money. But I don't like to request the whole. I like to build up the account, and so these are just showing you that the idea is real. Okay, you can test, you can pass, you can get paid. Okay, so a little bit about me quickly. Sherry mentioned some of my background. I was known for the first 2 decades of my 4-decade career as somebody who writes trading plans. I've written several books. There's still one available on Amazon on the topic. And so when I talk about trading plans, I've got some experience with it. I was writing them primarily for institutional traders, etc. But of course, when I started to work with the public, then it became different kinds of trading plans, ones that really incorporated some of that mental and emotional capability that you want. In other words, keep you stuck to the plan instead of a plan that kind of is hard to stick to. Okay, that's very important. Worked for PaineWebber, as Sherry mentioned, ran the International Trading Group, a large option firm, the largest in the country in the 80s. Had my own entities, but and the most current 2 decades, I have spent really focusing on the lost art or the neglected art of discipline in trading, which is really why 90% fail, I believe. There's plenty of good trading plans out there. Traders and firms send me their trading plans all the time, and they're all pretty darn good. You can make money with pretty much all of them if they're built responsibly, but it's following those plans that are the problem. So that has been my concentration. I just want to show you, that's me. Sherry, you haven't seen that picture, but I just want to show you I'm a regular person. Got probably 5 or 10 pounds, maybe 12 here around the stomach area. Here's my remote. I'm sitting here after early evening. I watch TV with my TV tray like any all you probably do. I know that's, you have kids, you got to go to the table, but when they're gone, boom, you can eat in front of the TV. There's a couple of those fur babies that you talked about. There's Juliet, and that's Frick, Frack you don't see, he's around. But just wanted to show you, I'm like you, but maybe the only difference is I figured out this prop trading thing, and I haven't been trading my own money now for 6 months, and I believe you should consider this too. It's much more fun, and I'm going to show you some tips and techniques right now to make that happen for you. First, let's take a look at, I'm going to focus on Apex. I don't represent them. I do have discount codes for Apex and Top Step. And again, you can write me, just go to thedisciplinetrader.com and go ahead and find the contact there and say, hey, you mentioned a discount code. I know that the Apex has the 80%. I don't have one currently for Top Step, but let's focus on this right here, the $50,000 account. This is where most people, this is the best numbers. I won't go through the numbers on the 150, but as you get into them later on your own, 150 has a really good profit goal compared to the trailing threshold. You can't break $5,000, but let's concentrate on the 50, because 50 is the easiest to, I want you to qualify, and I want you to start getting paid. Once they wire money into your account, okay, it's all real. That's when you say, hey, I have a business here. I want you to think about this as a business, okay? Concentrate on the 50 because it's the easiest path to getting funded. You only have to make $3,000, okay, before you lose $2,500. So that's a nice comparison. You're not paying any. You have to use NinjaTrader. So if you're not using NinjaTrader, I didn't. I used TradeStation for 30 years, and I decided I'd try this NinjaTrader. If you're using one, it takes you. I haven't learned much about NinjaTrader at all. I've been trading it for 6 months, but I've learned enough quickly, really within a day, to start actually trading responsibly. So if you don't have the NinjaTrader, don't worry about it. You can learn it very quickly. If you do, that's all cool. Your data is free, your license is free, so there's no cost there for you. The only cost is this, $167 a month. Again, I have something that'll make this $32 a month, okay? 80% coupon. So you'll be billed every month this amount of money. And I started by paying $167. Okay, yes, I passed this in 10 trading days, so I only had to pay it once. But maybe if you're not as experienced a trader, or you're a little bit more nervous than I was, maybe it'll take you 2 months or 3. It doesn't really matter. At $35 or $32, it's not going to get in your way. Okay, so you'll also have those reset fees. If you blow out an account, you'll reset it for $80. So these numbers are nothing compared to the fact that when you get funded, you're going to be trading a $50,000 account. Okay, so I want you to just kind of take a look at some of the advantages here. Okay, let's continue on. I want to start with the tips. Are you ready for the tips? Can somebody give me some feedback? I'd like to know that I'm talking with. Typing is pecking fine for me. Okay, let's see. Anybody want to give me a chat? You ready to go? Okay, great. Okay, terrific. All right. Let me take a sip of water. there are two ways that that you can close out a trade, and I want you to stick with me here. It's not that complicated, but I want it to click for you because this is important. This is important because when I thank you, Jason. When you start to trade, this is going to be very key to your success. Okay, it's how they judge these drawdowns. I mentioned that Apex, for instance, if you lose $2,500, you're going to blow out the account. You're going to start over again. Okay, but this is how they measure that drawdown. You can either measure it through closed trades and open trades. Let me show you what I mean. Let's say you have a $50,000 account, okay, and the trailing threshold we mentioned $2,500. Let's say you're in a trade and you have an open trade equity of $1,000. It's a great trade. Wow, you just made 20 points in the S&P and a big contract, and not that I would suggest trading that right off the bat on a $50,000 account, but for example's sake, you're up $1,000. You're at $51,000, okay? But you close, the market comes all the way back down. You close at break even, and the value of your account is still $50,000, okay? The trailing threshold remains $2,500, okay? You didn't lose any money. Now let's take, when you consider open trade equity, which is one some firms do it, and some like Apex does. Top Step doesn't, but they make you make 3,000 before losing 2,500. They make you do that twice. With Apex, you only have to do it once, but they have this particular rule that I'm about to explain. The open trade equity, same example, $50,000. You have a $2,500 trailing threshold. You're up $1,000 in the trade, and then you let it go back to break even. Well, when you judge this drawdown by open trade equity, now your threshold is now $1,500 because you let go of this $1,000 and you didn't take it. Okay, now that may sound that's very discouraging on first glance, but I'm going to tell you something right now that I've seen this from other traders that I'm going to make you an offer at the end. Others that have taken the offer and have gone on to pass and be paid out. I want to tell you that it makes you a better trader. Again, you want to be conservative. There's a balance of being conservative and being aggressive at the right times. And I like you to demonstrate that in your trading by position sizing, not which trades you take and which ones you don't. Okay, another discussion for another time. But you can see the difference here. You need to take open trade equity. You need to capture open trade equity if you're going to pass quickly with firms that judge the drawdown by open trade equity. Okay, so here's a couple of the remedies. You want to start with multiple contracts and scale out. In other words, before I really focused on prop trading, I was not a scalper. Most of my methods, although I've written trading plans for scalpers, my personal methods have always been let it ride, defend your profit, and make that happen. But I have learned that it's much easier and much more effective, and it really could have made me a better trader. Also, I think it did. When you start with multiple contracts and scale out. Now, with today's markets, I'm talking to you mostly now about futures markets. But what I'm talking about, there are some prop firms that deal with stocks, some with forex. Most are with futures. So I'm talking to you today about futures. And what I offer and what I say here applies to all those venues, whether you're trading stocks, futures, or forex. Okay, so you start with multiple contracts. Now, in futures, you've got the micro contracts, which makes it very easy to take on a couple of micro or 4 micro S&P contracts, micro mini S&P contracts. And you want to treat them as at least 2 entities. Okay, so if you take on 2 contracts, you want to treat them, of course, as 50-50. Okay, and if you only use 1 contract, you want to use it as a scalp. So back to the first remedy, you want to start with multiple contracts, treat one as a scalp, okay? At the minimum of 2 contracts, one as a scalp and one I call as a runner, where you're defending. By treating the first one as a scalp, you're grabbing that open trade equity right away and banking it against your trailing threshold. You're letting the other one run, and if you give a little bit back, that may be offset by what you took in the previous scalp, and you're going to continue to have a nice high trailing threshold. That may be a lot to say, but don't worry about the semantics other than to know that when you take a scalp, you're adding to your trading threshold. Okay, so I want to recommend to you that you take a scalp on one of those positions and then let the other one ride with a defensive posture, trailing stops in some way. And we have other more I'm going to call it professional ways of doing it that can get you out a little bit earlier or leave you in and when you get others are getting faked out. So, but you're treating that second one as more of an expansion. You're treating the first one as scalp. Okay, I think I've run the gambit of that tip. Okay, tip 2 is multiple contracts. Okay, you can see some of the contract. These are some of the things that I've been trading. Some of the that I've been trading. There's a $250, $150, and $50,000 accounts. But I wanted to just show you that you can have multiple accounts. Okay, and you want to have multiple accounts. Again, you want to consider this a business. I was talking to Dale from Echo before we got started, and we were talking about the importance of treating your trading as a business and not just as a hobby or a thing that you want to try. Okay, in a business, if I advertise in one place and it doesn't go well, that doesn't mean anything much because I've got 3 or 4 other places I'm advertising that do well. If you're making, listen, I do a presentation and I teach people who are with me on how to build a long-term business with this. This is part really of that presentation. You want to have multiple streams of income. That's what I consider these separate accounts, these mini accounts. They're multiple streams of income. If you happen to blow out one, okay, one of these accounts, no problem. You're still getting income from the others. So the magic number for me is going to be 5. Okay, 5 accounts. Where now there is a software that you can buy. They're put out by a number, and I'm talking about for $100 or $150. I think I paid for it, where you can put on a trade and it goes to all of the accounts or whatever number of accounts you want it to go to at the same time. Okay, and in different quantities sometimes. I may want to put on a NASDAQ trade. I'll put 2 full contracts here. I'll put 1 full contract here, or 2, or maybe 3 here, 2 here, and maybe I'll put 4 micros here. Okay, and because it'll even on the contracts that have micros and minis, it will allow you that 1-click adjustment to do that in 1 click on several accounts. I think you know what I'm saying. So you can manage that. I actually haven't gotten to that. I'm going to show you my screen in a second, show you how I manage things. But in general, I think we're going to be using that. I like to manage them individually and just be quick with the clicks. But the idea here is multiple accounts is where you want to be. You don't want to have one account. You want to have multiple accounts. So start with a couple of $50,000 accounts and throw in a 150. Get going on the number of accounts that you have. Okay. And this way, if something happens to one account, you can continue to have your income. Doesn't stop. Again, you're thinking about it as a business. And I know that doesn't sound like a huge tip, but it really is. Really keeps, again, I'm always into keeping that confidence up. And the third tip is to have a frequent, reliable trigger. This is very important. If you have several triggers, you need to prioritize them. But if you have a frequent trigger, then you're going to, the faster you qualify, the less fees you'll pay. Okay, I mean, for those that are worried about the fees. If you have a trigger that only happens once a day, it may take you you're going to have to put on a larger position size, take more risk in order to get where you want to go, as opposed to having a valuable trigger, one that's just as reliable, that occurs frequently. So you got to find a frequent trigger, one that you can collapse time with. Okay, and you need a good trading plan. A good trading plan will likely have more winners than losers, so a higher frequency of trades would make sense, right? And so still, it's more important to have a trading plan that wins over time than forcing frequency. So if you're not, don't force triggers that you haven't tested and work your plan. But I'm saying take some time, maybe on the weekend or whatever, to test some triggers. I'm going to give you one right here. I'm going to demonstrate one for you in a couple of minutes, but I want you to understand that you want to have a couple of few really good frequent triggers. They want to be frequent and reliable. And by reliable, I mean, you want to find that A+ trigger. You want to take all your triggers, and you don't want to guess. You want to go back a week, 2 weeks. You don't have to go back much further than that, because markets do change more rapidly than ever. So you want to make sure that the confidence that you have is based on what's been happening recently. I mean, if I showed you what happened, how well I did in 1980, 1990, and all the money I made before 2000, it wouldn't mean anything. The markets have changed. In fact, I don't think it means anything showing you what I made last year. I think this year is what's important, and yesterday is more important than the day before. Not that markets have different personalities. Not only does each market have a different personality, but the fluctuations over time have different, give the market a different personality. Reports that come out, big reports, the personality for that day will change because of a dramatic report. So you want to find an A+ trigger and prioritize that through back testing, and find one that is reliable, not only frequent, but reliable, one that gets you. And when I say reliable, I'm going to say over 60%. Okay, that's a really good trigger. Okay, the trigger I'm going to show you is more like a 2/3 trigger, 67%. And once you get to that 60% level, and each percentage above makes a big difference. Okay, over time. All right, so find a A+ trigger, and have the patience to wait for the A+ trigger, because you're going to have a dilemma. You're going to have a one that works better, but one that's more frequent, and they're kind of close. Find the one that is the best balance for you, okay? But you want to make sure that they're of course, they're reliable enough and they're frequent enough, but have the patience to wait for that trigger to emerge, okay? And sticking to A+ setups means fewer trades. You're going to make fewer trades. You're going to have more profit, and there's going to be less transactional costs. It just makes sense to get off to a good look. In trading, there's two things that can kind of happen when you put on a trade. You can get off to a good start. You can get off to a lousy start. If you get off to a good start right away, immediately, there's a lot of good things that can happen from there. If you get off to a poor start, there are fewer things that can happen from there. So you want to find a trigger that gets you off to a good start, and you want to test that A+ trigger. I think I've run the gambit of tip number 3. I'm going to show you, and I'm going to demonstrate to you right now the beauty of an A+ trigger. Okay, I'm going to give you one right now. It's one that we have several triggers in the loaded gun program, loaded gun simple trading plan. But I'm going to show you this one. I'm hesitant to really show you, because I don't want you to use it straight out. There are nuances around it that you really need to understand. But I just want to show you the basic idea here. And I'm going to show you some charts that I haven't looked at today. I'm going to show you from today's charts. So I'm going to show you how reliable this trigger is. Now, the first thing about this trigger is that it is it's a two candle trigger, where this candle here is a very small distance, very short distance between the open and the close. This is a spinner, they call it. Or if it was a straight line and the open equaled the close of this 5-minute period. I like to trade 5 minutes. I've traded 5, 10, 2. Yesterday I was trading 30 because I was doing some things in between. And since the systems that I run, that I like to create, only have changes or movements to make at the close of each, I've got 30 minutes to do other things because I've already put in my stops and so on. But my idea here is that this trigger starts with what I call an indecision candle. In this 5-minute period of time, nothing happened. Nothing happened. The market thought about going down, thought about going up. In this 5-minute period, the traders on the floor, nobody is doing anything. Everybody's saying, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? Well, the next candle showed you what's going to happen. And if it passes through a particular moving average, I like to, and the one I'm going to show you, I believe, we have several of them, but I'm going to show you the 8-bar exponential moving average. If it passes through this moving average, if this extension candle, hesitation candle, extension candle, if the extension candle passes through goes on the other side, notice this is on one side, and this closes on the other side of the moving average. What did I say this was? I'm using 8 in this one. So This is a buy. Here's where you buy 2 positions, okay, minimum. So if you buy 2 gold contracts here, you're going to put your stop underneath the formation. Now, some of the people are trading this I like to put it a tick below the lowest one. So it's got to be below the lowest of the 2 lows. And in this particular case, we're counting the wicks. So the stop would be down here. If you like to give it a little bit more room, doesn't really matter. It's up to you. But I like to, if it's not going to work, I like to cut it off and get to the next trade. So it's up to you. But you want to put it underneath the formation. Then you want to measure the body. Every extension like this, when you get a power extension like this, sometimes it doesn't look as big and powerful, but if it crosses the, if there's a big difference between the two, there's some parameters here, but I'm showing you the basics, and then I want to show you the basics in chart form in today's charts. I measure the body here, and I extend this body up the same distance. So I would be putting my limit sell in right here, or just below that, not exactly full, but maybe 80 or 90% of that. I put my limit sell in right there, okay, so that when the market goes higher, I'm selling my first of the 2 contracts, my scalp at this point, and then I'm taking the stop on the remaining position to break even. So I measure this body, I extend it up, and in that area is where I want to take my limit sell for the scalp, and then when that's taken, I move it higher. I move the break even to the stop to break even on the remaining position. Okay, that's all I want to tell you. This is a frequent, reliable trigger. Okay, and I'm gonna, let's see. Let me go ahead and move to my charts. Let me move to my charts here, and I want to. Can you see those charts? Okay, everybody see those? I see the let's go. Jason, can you see the charts? You've been talkative. Yes. Okay. Count. All right. Okay. As long as everybody can see the charts. All right. Well, here's how I set it up. You know, I have. These are my, this is one of my funded accounts. This is where I place orders for another funded account. Here's another and another. So I have 4 accounts here that that I put my orders in. And then I have my charts. I've changed these around a little bit. This is usually the S&P, and this is the NASDAQ. This is usually the Euro. But let's take a look at that. I just want to show you how simple my charts are. This is a chart. 1 moving average. Let's see if I've used the 8. Yeah. Okay. So I've used the 8 here in this example. I just need to. Okay. That's gonna do me. All right. You can see how simple my charts are. I'm not going to go into the RSI. I use it in certain cases sometimes, but this is the NASDAQ. Well, let's just start off well, let's start off here. Let's say 7 in the morning is when I start trading. So right here, this is a signal right away, okay? It's a small body. It's barely a signal because I like to see a little bit more extension here. But if I'm going to short 2 positions here and put my stop up here, this is a very short risk. This is a terrific trade to take, okay? And so I'm going to sell 2 here. I'm going to take a short scalp. Again, the scalps I always take are based on the measurement of the body of the extended candle through in this case the 8. Okay, so I would have taken my first scalp here, and then I would have moved the second position's break even, the stop on the break even, and I would have ridden the remaining position all the way down. Now, I'm not going to get into exits. We have some really great exit strategies that help you. But with our strategy, you would have ridden this all the way down. Okay, so here's another. But now here's small, right? And here's indecision with 2 indecision candles, followed by a powerful move. See, the more powerful the move is, it's scary, but it usually leads to the bigger movements. Okay, and so so right here, the problem with this is that this is a big risk. So this is where you would move to the micros, okay, and you put your stop down here. Your first order of you would measure this and put your limit sell on the first position here, and you would have gotten rid. In our system, you would have stayed in this market all the way up. In fact, if you weren't in it, here was another place to get in. This is not a signal to get short, for instance, because there's not enough difference between the two. This is too big a body compared to the, I want indecision. I want what's going to happen? What's going to happen? Oh my God, it's happening just like this. That's what happened here. So here's another place that one would have gotten in, and you would have resisted all of this in the loaded gun system and been in this right to the current. This is the current trade. So as you see, we have two huge moves so far here with those. Let's look at some other markets. Anybody want to suggest a market to me to look at so that you know I'm not front running you here? Anybody want to name a futures market, and I'll put it in here if you would. Otherwise, I'll go to gold and crude and copper, some of the things that I look at to show you the effectiveness of a reliable signal. Okay. All right. All right. Let's go to gold. Do we have gold here? Yeah, gold's been a great market. Now there's going to be losers. I want to show you that I'm looking for a loser here. I'll find one. There's enough of them to show you. This is not a. I'm looking at the 5-minute chart. Let's see, where's 7 o'clock. So here's 7 o'clock. There's nothing going on here. This is not a signal. Again, not enough. Here's a signal. Okay, here is a signal to go long. Okay, and it's a losing signal. So when you lose in this system, you're going to lose. And I want to lose. If it starts to do this, I want to get the hell out and get to the next trade, because my losers are going to look like this, but my winners can look like this. Now, there's no signal here. There are no signals here. But if I'm going to show you something. I'm going to go to the 2-minute. Okay, I'm going to go to the 2-minute, and you can see some of the signals here. I'm going to go to the 10-minute. Let's see if there's a 10-minute. So if you change time frames, you're going to look. Here's the 10-minute time frame. Look at this trade. In that same period of time that I showed you before, where it was noise down here, when I changed time frames, I uncovered this reliable signal. So those impatient people, you'll be changing time frames here. It doesn't matter. It works. Look at this. This was the risk. This was the risk. And this is, you're still in this trade. I mean, there's right here. Here's another. Now, this is a bigger risk, so you would have had a small, look at that. Here's another, I think, look, it did poke its nose above the moving average. Here's one right here. You would have had your scalp in here. And then we show you what to do there. In the exit strategies, there is a measure, if it gets too far from the moving average, that I like you to just take your profit, but I won't get into that. Here, look at this right here. Another, look at this, boom. So what I'm showing you, here's a loser. A big loser? No, a loser. When you lose, you lose. You lose. It's okay. We're traders. We're professionals. But look at this. Boom. Look at that. Here's another loser. Small. Okay. There's a question of whether you would have taken it, but I'm just showing you the trigger. Because there's a few other factors we look at. But there are some traders that just take every one of these trades. But look at it. Because of this. Look at this. Unbelievable. Okay, that's gold. Let's go. Now that's a 10-minute. Let's go back to the 5. Let's take a look at somebody I saw wanted to look at the crude market. Let's see if I've got crude oil here. Here's crude oil. I mean, it doesn't take long. Look at this. Oh, here now you see this right here. Here's a position. This is not a signal because not enough distance between the two. Same here. This one here is a signal. Okay. Now, when you go sideways like this, we have rules about how many we're willing to go sideways and what we do. So we would have been out of this in here. This one is a short position. We would have been out in this area here. So you would have taken minor losses or minor gains in that area. Here's another, but you got to keep taking. Okay. Here's another one that you would have had a short loss in, but then you had your scalp until you were stopped out with break even. You're continuing your day. There's nothing going on here until right here. Look at that, a beautiful position. Right here is really the signal. Okay, and when you get it twice like this, okay, we would have remained with our what we call nuances, where I won't explain that, but I just want to tell you where we would have been and what we would have remained in this position, whether we got in here or got in here. But look at this. I mean, beautiful. There's another possible. You see this straddling of the position of the, remember I said this needs to be on one side, the small, and then this needs to break through. Well, when you have a double top like this and other things that I'm going to show you. There's a hierarchy that we look at, and then you have a descending RSI. I'm getting, this is about as complicated as this system is. I just explained to you the most complicated part, and it's not complicated. But some people don't even measure that. They just take the signal. And look at this, okay? And this is a big move. I shouldn't really just dust over this. This is a move from 72.80 to, this is $1,000, okay, in less than 2 hours. Okay, and the great thing about this contract is that there are half contracts. You can take, it's I think it's QM is the symbol in most of the systems. It's a half contract of crude oil. So what you would have taken the first half here, and then you would have had half a contract all the way down. Anyway, I just wanted to, is there anybody else that would like to see another chart before I go back to what I want to, I just want to show you, have you enjoyed that frequent reliable trigger? Do you understand what it would look like? Okay, here's just one. I've got several of them for you, but it's really important that but you got to know when to get out. Okay, you got to know when to get out, and I haven't discussed that. So please don't go using this until, you know, use it if you go forward with me, but don't go. I've given you enough to probably make you dangerous. Okay, so but I want, listen, please do ES. Well, that's okay. We'll do the ES real quick before we move on. Here's the ES right here. Look at this. Oh my gosh, look at that. Now you may not have been up at 3:30 in the morning, but just in case you are, I mean, if you're in Europe, these are very nice. I mean, at 9 in the morning, you're having your second cup of coffee and you see this. Look at this. And in our system, you would have been in this the whole way up. I mean, and now here is a lot of people would get shaken out here in a system, but you wouldn't with loaded gun. And there's a couple of reasons why. We run another moving average that we use as a backstop that prevents certain things. But some of the people don't even use the backstop. They're just willing to get out here and look for the next possibility. They're very satisfied with this. It looked very satisfactory. Yeah, maybe you missed this, but you're gonna miss some. You're gonna miss some trades. Okay, so here's another one that doesn't look like much here, but maybe during the day it looked bigger. So I think you can see. Let's look at the 2. A lot of people trade the 2 with the. I don't, but well, sometimes they do. But let's take a look here. Here's a losing position. Okay, here's a winner right here. Nice winner. Here's a losing position. Actually, you wouldn't have taken this in our system, but here's a winner here, another nice position going up. Look at it. You would have gotten in here, and then we would have blown through. Wow, look at that. This is a position that would have been a winner. Why? Because you would have had your scalp, and then you would have moved to break even, so you would have had a 1 position winner here. And although we don't have a signal here to go, if you change time frames, you would have. But here's a signal right here. And normally you wouldn't take this, but in our system, a lot of guys would have gotten their scalp. So I'm just, I hope you've really enjoyed this, because I'm just so impressed. Somebody showed me this. I didn't make this up, and years ago. And I've got several of them I want to show you in loaded gun, but that's one of the loaded gun triggers. Anyway, I want to just make you the offer that I wanted to make you. If I can find here we go. Let's get back to the frequent trigger. All right, I'm going to expand this here just in case anybody has any questions. I hope you enjoy that. What about the what was the MA? The MA, it's the EMA. I think it was 8 that I used, but we used several in different situations, different markets. Okay, so for passing the prop evaluation, I want to offer you the loaded gun simple trading plan at a broken price. I want you to get into this, because why should you be trading your money when you should be trading somebody else's money? I've shown you my success. There are plenty that have followed me. I think those that know me and know who I am know that I've had a following for a long time. I just want you to be part of it. I want the loaded gun simple trading plan is going to give you the loaded gun trading plan. There's a video on kind of what I just showed you and the other triggers and other things going on. And there's a series of videos. All of the videos you can do within 3 hours. Okay, the core with our videos, all the rules, and it all fits on one sheet of paper. You can print out the rules, watch the videos, get it down. Okay, doesn't take long. There are all nuances. Remember I said this looks like I would have gotten out, but to you maybe, but our system would have kept us in. These are called nuances. There are 7 of them, and we're testing 2 other ones right now, but there are 7 of them, and what they're really for are situational instruction that you can stay in a trade when normally the loaded gun basic rules would have you out on a very conservative way. You're not adding you're adding a very minor amount of extra risk for the sake of either staying in a trade or multiplying a trade or scaling out of a trade. But the nuances are something that I invented years ago, and it really helps to tailor a trading plan to you as an individual. Don't worry too much about it, but believe me, it's terrific. And we have a private Facebook group. I wish it was more active, but a lot of traders, especially senior traders, I know we have a lot of senior traders that are trading, that are doing the prop trading through loaded gun. They don't like Facebook, and that's okay. And so when we have monthly get-togethers, every month we meet in our little boxes on Zoom, and we talk about our experiences, our successes, and so on, and some of the things we're doing. That moving average that I didn't show you, that I called the guardrail, was actually contributed by one of the people who are running loaded gun and say, hey, I tried this, it really worked. I tested it, and that was part of the system. So listen, we're in this together. I want you to be able to trade their money and get them 90% of the profit. It is a real thing. It's going on. I've shown you that I'm doing it, and I'm growing it. And I want you to do it. Just follow in my footsteps here. I'm going to make that easy for you to do. Okay, so the monthly get-togethers is where we share our experiences. Alan, who's a real estate developer, real estate goes back and forth. He says that your processes are usable by every trader for every trading style to guide each of us in creating our own personalized systems. That was the nuances I talked about. The tools have helped me increase my profit, win ratio, confidence, and most of all, is job satisfaction. And as a full-time trader, that's been the greatest benefit of them all to Alan. Listen, you have to enjoy trading. You have to take the stress out. And by trading somebody else's money, and then matching it with a trading plan that takes advantage, that takes disadvantage in rules and make them advantageous to you. That's what loaded gun is all about, and that's what Alan is saying here. Here's somebody that this was last week. I got this. He said Mike said I passed an Apex $100,000 valuation in 4 days. He beat my record. Okay, trading the loaded gun, mostly scalping, but a few runners brought it home. I still have a few trading days to finish. You have to, I'll explain that in a second. I still have a few trading days to finish, but I made $6,000 in 4 days this week. Great trading plan, thanks so much. When he says he still has a few trading days, you've got to trade at least 10 days. They don't want you having one big trade to make that make enough money to pass. They want to see consistency. So they want you to have a trade on at least one trade on in at least 10 trading days before that. So he did it in 4 days. He's got to spend 6 days just putting on trades in order to satisfy that particular rule. But that's what happens when you qualify too fast. So congratulations again, Mike. He's also on his next qualification. But I'm going to give you unlimited one-on-one coaching sessions for 90 days. Okay. As soon as you invest in a loaded gun simple trading plan, you'll get an email with a calendar link. You'll be able to schedule a personalized one-on-one walkthrough with me. In this particular case, the four spots I'm offering today are with me. Okay. And I'm going to learn a little bit about you. And then I'm going to advise you how to get a quick start based on your personality. You know, if you're somebody that lacks patience, a couple of things I want you to pay attention to in the system. If you're somebody who likes the action, something else I want to point you to that's going to fit you and have you it's going to have to follow the trading plan without thinking about jumping off it. Now, as you perfect the running of the plan, I'm going to be there as many times as you need me to have one-on-one coaching sessions. The truth is, most are 1 or 2. 1 or 2 it's a simple trading plan. You're going to look at the videos, you're going to back test it a little on your own, then you're going to get together with me, and we're going to go through it to make sure that you understand all of the conditions of the trading plan. And then once I think you have it, you'll leave and you'll trade. You'll start trading. You'll be with us in the monthly meetings. I'll see you there. But many have 2 and 3 and 4 meetings. I've had that before. So it's there for you. I don't care how neurotic you are. I want to be there and help you, because the more this comes clear to you, the less neurotic you're going to be. Okay, so unlimited one-on-one coaching sessions for 90 days. I want you to learn this. That's why I call it a simple trading plan. I think I showed you my charts. I'm not asking you to buy software. This is a one-time charge, and that's it. You own it for life. You're with us for life. There's no monthly thing. I'm not asking you to depend on some electronic thing telling you that to buy or sell. I want you to make your own decisions, because that's the only way you're going to get real with trading. Okay, so unlimited one-on-one coaching for 90 days. And here's my personal guarantee. I am so confident that you're following the Loaded Gun Simple Trading Plan will result in you getting funded by your prop firm so that you risk their money and not yours, yet still receive 90% of the profit you generate. Just share your trading experience with me. Get on one of the calls with me and show me that you followed the simple rules and it didn't work for you, and I'm going to refund your money plus $500 for your trouble. That's how frequent, that's how consistent these rules are, okay? If it doesn't work for you, just show me that it doesn't work, and I'll give you your money back plus $500. Why do I do that? Because it's never going to happen. Okay, if you follow what I'm asking you to do, you're going to have the same success that I'm having and people who are running the trading plan. You're going to meet them in the meeting. Okay, it's usually the last Wednesday of the month, and they're all recorded. If you miss it, you can just watch it. Okay, here's the offer. Okay, Loaded Simple Gun Trading Plan. Okay, the core Loaded Gun Trading Plan. I'm going to give you all the nuances that kind of fit you. The private Facebook group. You're going to get monthly get-togethers, okay? You're going to get the unlimited one-on-one coaching for 90 days and my personal guarantee, okay? And all of this, okay, a value of $4,497, and I'm being low. Right now, we sell it all. We sell the whole thing, and I'm around now offering, in general, the unlimited. This is why I have to limit this at this price, okay, that I'm about to present to you. We get $19.97 easily for this, and because of the consistency and the success that I've shown you, and all the testimonials you'll read on the offer page. This can happen for you too. And $44.97 is the total value. We sell it right now online for $19.97, but I want you to have it for $9.97. Okay, here's the URL: theirmoneyyourprofit.com, and this is only for the first 4 traders. And the reason I can't take more than that, because especially in the beginning, when you start, you're going to zip through the 2.5 or 3 hours of the videos. You're going to get a basic understanding. And by next week, I'm going to be meeting with some of you. Okay, I have a life too. You saw me on my chair with the fur babies, as Sherry says. I can't take on a lot of people at once because of the one-on-one coaching. So don't worry about, as long as you're the first 4. If you're not the first 4, and it'll let you run through the process, this coupon code will work. You need the coupon code, their money, okay? It's going to work, but and when you click it, it's not going to say confirmed. It'll say please join the wait list, okay? If it does work with this code, then if you do it without the code, you'll get in, okay? But if you use this code, there's only room for 4, and if after the 4 are exhausted, if you put your credit card information in and put in or PayPal and put in let's go, the let's go button, it's going to say I'm sorry, but put you on the waiting list, and I'll let you know when we have our next special, okay? If you want to wait. Anyway, their money, but I will say that July we're looking at a price increase, so whatever it is, it's going to be greater than this, even if it's a deal. So their money, your profit, the first 4 traders only. Okay, there is one other thing I want to make sure that you know. There is an easy 4-pay available. It's called Afterpay. You'll see it when you go to the offer page. It's in there with the credit card stuff. You'll see something called Afterpay. There's actually even buy now, pay later. There's 2 different choices that are alternatives to paying in full. So don't make excuse. If this sounded interesting to you, and you're willing to say use Apex, where I've got the 80% off deal where you're paying $32 a month for a $50,000 account and $65 a month for a $150,000 test account. But I'd start with the 50. Get the money flowing. Okay, that's going to get your juices going. So utilize this offer. Okay, whether you do it easy pay or whether you do it through the full pay. Let's get going. I'd really love to have you. So I think that is my time. We've got a couple of minutes left. Let's see if we've got a question or two. That EMA, I think I utilized the 8 EMA in that, David. So if there's any other questions, let's see. Looking here. Really appreciate you being here. Yes, this is a one-time payment, just one time for life. You own it for life. So, you know, let's bond at the hip. Let's make this happen. Again, I'm just like you. You saw me in my chair. The difference is I think I figured this out. I did figure this out, and I want to help you. I want you to use the same trading plan I used. Okay, you can nuance it a little bit. It's not going to really affect your results except for we'll keep you on the program, and you'll have the same consistent results that I have. It's all about discipline. I built it into this program. Okay, so their money, yourprofit.com. Use the coupon code their money, and I can't wait to meet the first 4 traders. Okay, all right, that is it, Sherry.
That was fast. That went so fast. What happened here? I
Woo!
blinked and you were done.
See, it's like what is it? Having a good time. When you have a good time, it goes fast. Who knows?
That's right. When you
but we've got some great. I think the person following me had money coming out of his pocket in that picture. Did he? No, you can't. You got to see what he's about. But I want money flowing into your pocket, and I think we can do it here. Just show you how I did it, and we'll get going. You got my guarantee. So.
All right, I'm putting your link into the chat, and
throw the coupon code because they're going to need that.
And it's HTTP, not HTTPS. I think that probably rolls over to an HTTPS
version.
Yeah, it'll forward. Good deal. Yeah, guys, you need to check this out hard. And you got a coupon code that you need to use on that page. Let me just get that coupon code. I know you can see it, but I'm going to put it in the chat so you can even copy it. Now, does it have to be all caps?
No, it can be small. It's a little smaller discount if you use small letters. Just kidding. Either way, you can do it.
And they do not need the quotations, right?
They do not need the quotations, and you have to have a sense of humor. Otherwise,
and you better have a sense of humor.
That's right.
I'm finding that, you know, besides the mental preparation and being able to know yourself and to make yourself do what you've set out to do, having a sense of humor is probably the real savings of the whole deal.
Yeah, and after, you know, before we started here in the pre-show, you know, we're like the Sports Central here. We had a pre-show. Dale and I, you asked Dale what the most important thing with traders were. He said, from Echo Trader, he said keeping your risk low. And I think if you're going to keep your attitude high, he is absolutely right. I agree with him. And my suggestion was that pay attention to the mental part. But I think if you take those 2 tips, you know, especially if you're a new person, those that have been trading know that what I've just said, those 2 areas are the key importance. They are the most important area. But if you're new, start now. Keep your risk low and pay attention to the mental and emotional part of trading. I think you're going to do very well. There
you go. I really appreciate every time you join us. I'm looking forward to having you back in the future. I wish you all the best with this. I have a feeling this is really happening here, that you've hit on something that is going to take it to the next level for you, right?
That's it. That's it. It's all karma. The more people I help, the more I'll go straight up when it's my time.
There you go. All right, well, there you have it. That was Mr. Norman Hallett of the Disciplined Trader, and you need to go to theirmoneyyourprofit.com to get this deal. You've got to have your coupon code. So please take a look